Hey everyone, Jim Phoenix here, and today is a special one. Today is right. We are doing something of a last drive-in special, last drive-in with Joe Bob Briggs. You can check him out tonight when he's doing an all-day, all-night marathon. I don't know the day part on Shutter. Starts at 9 p.m. I think Eastern. Good luck. Look it up. All I know to say is now hit the music. Oh my gosh, and we're back. So today's special. That doesn't make sense. Like the special. Anyways, today's special. And it's special for multiple reasons. One, J.M. Brennick's on assignment trying to find the newest shark. I believe they say they're going to hunt the Bigfoot shark in space. I don't know what that's about, but we wish them luck and we'll see them again. And today we've got the Haunted MTL's last drive-in correspondent, Kait Cat.
Oh,
Hello,
that's
Kait
me.
Cat.
That's my
right.
cue.
That's your cue. And other letters too. You don't have a Q in your name.
No, I
Is it?
don't.
Oh.
No. I've seen a lot of spellings of Kate and Caitlin, but none that have a Q in it.
Now I have to put a Q in your name. You know that, right?
Please do not do that.
No Q's anywhere. How about John DeLance? He was Q.
No, thank you.
Fine, whatever. Well, pleasure to have you. So glad you can make it. And I can't wait to pick your brain on the last drive-in because, truth be told, you watched it more than I do.
Yeah, and I've missed talking about it since I haven't been able to write my reviews lately. So this is a good time to brain dump all things Joe Bob.
That's right. And we're going to start back way back because if anyone's listening to the show and they talked about Joe Bob, I do love Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy and I love the old Shutter team. That's right, kiddies. The old Shutter team. I love the old Shutter team. I ain't gonna say anything about AMC bad. Actually, AMC doesn't sponsor me, so fuck them and fuck you too. I like the old Shutter team.
Feel free to send me merch boxes, AMC.
Kate's like, I like you.
I like you, and I like your T-shirts, and I like your programming.
Well, I love Fright Regs, by the way. Fright Regs is awesome, man.
Yes, Fright Regs is incredible, but they get my money, so they don't need to send me anything for free. I just spend it willingly.
Give it all up now. So I first heard about, not even saw, not even looked at, heard about Joe Bob Briggs, the last drive-in, when Dave Davis was on Haunted MTL saying, hey, can I cover this guy? I'm like, yeah, sure. Can we do some live tweeting? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I honestly, God, I think the whole social media thing starts with Haunted MTL. So suck it, everyone else, with Dave Davis. And it was weird because no one else is like hashtagging. It was so bizarre when it first started out. And then that kind of snowballs. Like I remember partway into season 1 and COVID happens. We had nothing else to fucking do but be home, especially in Canada. We had curfews.
Yeah, sit at home and watch Tiger King.
I never watched that either.
Oh, you missed out. It's not going to hit the same if you didn't watch it in quarantine while you thought the world was ending.
Oh. Well, it took the world to almost end for me to watch Joe Bob Briggs. So
that's sad.
I know. And I made this comment before, but I want your experience with Joe Bob Briggs. What was the first experience with Joe Bob?
All right. So I have to paint a little bit of a picture for you. Growing up, I didn't have cable. So I watched whatever was on, like the 3 stations that we had available. And if my friends had cable, it was like a magical, mystical wonderland of content. And I was hanging out at my friend's house. and her dad a little bit of a lush, so we were a bit unsupervised all the time, which is why I loved hanging out over there, because unsupervised kids plus cable, that's incredible, right?
That's the best house ever.
Yeah, it's the best house ever. And so I'm like, I'm a wee lass. I can't, I'm somewhere between 7 and 9 at this point. Me and this girl have been friends my whole life, and we're flipping through the channels, and there's a scary movie on. And her and I are like, awesome, scary movie. Let's watch
Oh,
it.
wow.
And then before it goes to commercial, some dudes on our TV talking at us. And we're like, what's happening? You know, we didn't know what horror hosts were. We didn't know what any of this was. And then he's like, I'm Joe Bob Briggs and this is Monster Vision. And she and I just looked at each other and we were like, oh, so this is a thing now. So we would plan sleepovers to try and catch Monster Vision on
Oh,
TNT with
wow.
Joe Bob Briggs. And there was so much that was not appropriate for young eyes. And then, like, just as we were really getting into it, was when he ended up getting canceled. You know, they took it off of the air, and I'm a child, and I'm angry, and I hate everything. And then I promptly forget about Joe Bob.
What
you
happened to
know,
my Joe Bob Briggs? I can't live without him. What's
I
next?
can't, I can't live without him. And then I turned 12, and I'm like, okay, world goes on.
Yeah.
So
No,
that
that's
was,
kind of it.
but that was my introduction to him, was kind of like, illicit watching of something that was terribly inappropriate for my age range, but we loved it because, horror movies had always spoke to our soul. And he was doing a blend at that point. It wasn't like strictly horror. The one that we caught was, but he's
Right.
doing a blend of stuff. But, like, he was funny, and he talked like people we knew, but he didn't say things like the people we knew, if that made sense.
Now, what day and time?
What day and time specifically?
Yeah, was it kind of like on Friday nights? I heard it was Friday night. Was it
I'm
was it Friday or
it
Thursday
was
or
either Friday or Saturday nights. I can't
okay.
remember. I
And it
know
was
that
nighttime, yeah.
yeah, it was nighttime. It was on the weekends. I know that, and it was either Friday or Saturday, and I can't tell you for sure because I would ride the bus home with her, and then I would just stay there all weekend. And my mom didn't care because I was out of her hair. She's like, "Go do whatever you want. Be feral. You're someone else's problem."
Night. Oh, that's growing up in the let me see. There's internet, but not really internet yet. That's kind of like the AOL internet years.
Yeah, it was. We were just starting to be raised by the internet. It was just right on the cusp of it. It was that magical period where if you wanted the internet, you had to go to the library and sign up on a wait list for the one computer and,
Right.
wait your turn for your 15 minutes. That was it was a weird time.
Well, I like that weird time. I missed that weird time. I missed
Me
it.
too.
And then having the first cable modem and smoking everyone in PvP because they had dial-up still.
Oh my gosh, I'm jealous.
Uh-huh. I know. I was
I was just playing
age.
Neopets, so I didn't need high-speed
Oh, I
internet.
remember that stuff too. Okay. So it was during that time. It was during that era.
Yes.
And that makes sense because, and I said this before, uh, I was in Vegas, like
Ooh.
as an adult, like an early
Ooh.
young adult. And there's no way in hell I'm going to be at my TV set Friday, Saturday, or It doesn't matter
Nope,
at
that
9 p.m. It ain't happening. And I'm like, I'm out at bars and clubs and strip club. I was doing a lot of stuff. Probably I shouldn't have at that
you were
age.
living your life and
Yeah.
you're still here to tell the story, so you didn't mess up too badly.
Now you can hear that story on Surviving Gen X. Buy it today. Nice plug. Thanks. So good drop. It was a weird thing for me to experience because like this dude had a cult following that I had no idea existed.
Well, so
And I was like,
that
what?
kind of happened to me too because I rediscovered the last drive-in during the I missed the original marathon, and then I had Shutter and I was scrolling through and I was like, "Oh my god, that's Joe Bob," and it like unlocked a piece of my
Oh
brain.
wow.
And I watched a few seasons before I even had any idea about the Twitter community or the social media community. So when I found out about that, I was like, "Oh my god, what is going on?" Like, I thought this was just a TV show that people watched, and there's a whole world built around this.
Yeah. It got big. There's like the conventions now and the interviews and the interview, the conventions, and then the specials and the charity specials, which we all give way too much with, or not enough really, but still, one day I'm gonna own a piece of something. Accidentally own a piece of something, I should say.
Accidentally own a piece of something. Your annual updates on what you're bidding on during the charity marathons are very, very amusing to me.
Really?
Yes, I love them.
Yeah, I do. Do I tweet those or just like paste it in
Oh,
Discord? I can't
oh,
remember.
you've just sent them to me in Discord.
Discord? Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I'm never gonna bid on any of this stuff, so it's just fun seeing you try to get a piece of the pie.
I like calling it running up the bid and then hoping the fuck someone else bids after me after a while.
Yeah.
But it's fun and it's all for charity, and we'll get into all that madness,
Yes,
and
it's
it is a bunch
greatness.
of madness. So why? Okay, as a kid, you were seeing it as monster vision and like, oh my gosh, it's magical. As an adult, why Joe Bob?
Because he talks like people I know, but he doesn't say the things like people I like. It's a very it's I think that's the what it really boils down to is that he is somebody who is a comforting figure to me, especially. I'm from the Midwest, but my whole family's from Appalachia, so I'm the first Midwest of the generations. Everybody else is straight Appalachian, and so I know a lot of the good old boy types, the manly men, and all of that, and the macho, rah rah rah, and
Yeah.
they are not like Joe Bob, but they are in a very, you know,
Well,
it's kind of hard for me to articulate,
are
and I
they
sound
not
like an
like?
idiot right
Oh no,
now.
you don't, not whatsoever. It's part of the magic of the show. Are they not sounding like Joe Bob, or but they are because is Joe Bob Briggs? We won't. Well, I guess it's not like outing him at this point, but is the character Joe Bob Briggs the thing that he's characterizing is the people he might have grown up around?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to and he doesn't like Joe Bob. I wouldn't say that he's a bastion of progressiveness by any means. Like, not at all. He definitely will still have some out of pocket comments that Darcy is just like, "Are you sure you want to say that on television?" And I'm like, hmm. But the thing about him and his characterization, but I also know that this is him as a human being, is that he is open and willing to have conversations about things. And I know he'll get all uppity on his thing about like, elevated horror, blah blah blah, and this and that, but like if he was actually in front of you and you were to ask him a question about, say, elevated horror or something that he's gotten riled up on the show before, he would have a genuine respectful conversation with you about it. He wouldn't just outright dismiss you.
Right.
And in my life, especially growing up as, a neurospicy lady, I have been dismissed a lot of my life, especially by older men who are supposed to be role models who just, don't take me seriously or didn't take anything I said seriously or just didn't have the same sort of viewpoints that I had. And seeing Joe Bob, even as a kid and now as an adult, it's like, damn, I wish I had a grandpa, and I wish that grandpa was just like
Oh,
Joe Bob,
that
you know?
I think that's a lot of great summing up of what people feel too. I mean, I think it's just the natural experience of you don't have to always agree with someone's horror choices. It's kind of like kink shaming. Like, you
Exactly.
don't kink shame, right? And there's some movies. Okay, I won't talk about you know Cannibal Holocaust because that was just a shit thing. But there was like some movies that I would never have watched if it wasn't for Joe Box Briggs's show.
Exactly. There's movies I'd never would have heard of if it wasn't for
Yeah,
Joe Bob because, like, I don't even know how those films get on your radar.
absolutely. And this is where it comes in with Shutter. I think some of these things are Shutter exclusives or Shutter creations themselves, and so they can license them for as long as they want. One of the best, you know what? Let's do the top 5 best movies we've seen on the last drive-in that we
Ooh.
probably would not have watched otherwise.
Oh, that we wouldn't have watched
Yeah,
otherwise?
or
Oh,
not
man.
even known existed. maybe.
Oh man. Hold on.
5.
I'm gonna have to pull up the Wikipedia article here.
Which one it has? I don't. And you
The
can't say
Wiki.
Halloween 3.
Yeah, we've never seen Halloween 3. All right, let
Oh,
me.
wait. Really?
Yeah, he's never shown it. It's like that's the whole funny thing is that it doesn't matter how much he's tried to. Well, I think it's more Darcy who's pushing for it at this point, but okay. So, starting with most recently, um Cemetery Man. That
Uh-huh.
that was the most recently that we've watched, and it was absolutely insane, and I loved it. It was a fever dream of nonsense, and I would have never watched it. Like literally would have never seen it if they hadn't shown it on.
And that was last week's, or the week before, I should say, right?
Well, yeah, that was week 11 according to
Whenever I was watching
Wikipedia.
Billy Idol.
You know, hey, that's you do you.
I know, like, Billy Idol live or have to do. Right. Oh, so you did Cemetery Man? Okay. And the
Yeah.
weird thing is that was just one movie that week, right?
Yeah, and so
This season's been a
it's
one-off.
this season's been really weird because we switched from doing just nonstop double features every single week to it being one movie every other week, which is it's got its pros and its cons, definitely. But, Joe Bob and Darcy are hyped about it. They say that it's a good thing and that we get more movies in total, and I'm just going to trust them. So,
Yeah, I think you get more movies and the fan base is a little more steadier because you just set your calendar to it. Like it's one thing and it's gonna be every other Friday. You know it in advance. Part of the issue I had in previous seasons, I would have to search out because sometimes Shutter's old team, I always knew was happening. Now I'm gonna say AMC. All I'm
mhm.
saying. You fired the wrong damn people. But it's kind of like I had to guess last or last semester too. Who knows?
Who
Last
knows?
year, I was like, when the fuck are they on? It's like, is it this week? No, it's what day? Okay, 3 more weeks. All right, that's the next one. You're gonna lose an audience because it's consistency, right? You just
Yeah,
bang, bang,
and
bang, bang.
like I really wish that and I don't know the licensing rules for all of this cuz I know like when you're hosting something the rules they get all muddled, but I
Yeah,
really wish that they could at least replay an old episode of Joe Bob in that Friday night slot, at least
right. That would have been awesome.
just
Like
so that it's still there so that even if it's an old one,
the repeat.
yeah.
They used to do that in the. Hey kids, if you grew up like Kit and I, when we only had 3 channels, mine was NBC and sometimes PBS. We didn't get CBS or ABC. What yours was what? Was it NBC, ABC,
Uh
CBS,
yeah, I think
or
that's
Fox
yeah.
maybe back then?
No,
Okay,
there was no Fox.
no Fox
I
yet.
think I watched a lot of whatever the Peacock one is what I watched a lot
NBC,
of.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
NBC.
usually has
That's
the
what I watched
most
a lot of growing
stations
up.
with the yeah. If you grew up in that time, unless you had a VHS set to on a timer, you had to be there in front of your TV at that time to watch anything whatsoever. After that, it was gone. So you had to sometimes do a repeat. They used to do like the summer repeats where when the show was not in the live fall production or the live fall schedule, you would watch the reruns in the summertime so you can catch up for the next season. And I think you're right. That would help out a lot. Like catch people up if they have to go, I don't know, Billy Idol and like miss something like, I can watch it later on, but I'd rather watch it when everyone else is watching it as part of the familiar, crowd fun
Yeah,
versus some random shit you watch on your own.
yeah.
So that's pretty cool. We had Cemetery Man.
Cemetery Man, Fried Berry. That's another
That's
one.
mine. Yeah, that's one of mine.
I
Fried Berry, same.
And it's funny because I'd actually tried to watch Fried Berry before it was on the drive-in, and I was like, no, and I just turned it off because I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then I watched it on the last drive-in. I still don't know what's happening, but I enjoyed it, and that's the fun thing is that you get all these behind-the-scene tidbits
Yes.
of information and the commentary and all of that. And so you get a deeper appreciation of the film, even if you don't necessarily appreciate the film, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Fried Berry, Dave did a review on that one, and I think he said, is a kind review because the movie itself it's well made, but you have to be pretty fucking high.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure for that one they showed it as the second film of the night. And that's one of the things that I miss about the double feature thing is cuz things used to just get so weird in the back half of
Yeah,
drive-in nights, and I miss that. We kind of lost a little bit of that culture where people are sloshed or stoned beyond
right.
recognition, and then they put on a movie that we're just like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, and I love that aspect of it because and don't get me wrong, I honestly there's a positive side to the one per, because
Yeah,
I can go to bed now. It's like midnight.
yeah. Yeah, I'm old, and so like it was hard for me to stay. Like I had a whole nap regimen, a whole coffee regimen, and I'm not allowed to have coffee or caffeine anymore. So like I'm been slowly this week I've been slowly shifting my sleep schedule. I managed to stay up until 3 a.m. last night so that I
Nice.
can stay awake for this whole marathon
That's the
that's
way
going to
to
be
do it.
taking place.
Yeah. And because I'm looking forward to this marathon, and because it's a marathon, you're right. As we go on, it's like a party. You got to
Yeah.
the party at this time at 9, and at midnight, you don't want to go home yet. You're like, oh, we have to go home now? What the fuck? The bar closes at midnight? The
Yeah, I
fucking
don't
hell?
like
Is this
some
Binghamton?
of my friends just got here. Like my
Yeah.
pals from California just showed up. What's going on?
Exactly, exactly. So when it goes a bit later, you're feeling the tiredness, but you're also
Mhm.
feeling like you're accomplishing something, and you're feeling you're having a party and a fun time.
Yeah.
A fun time. So I did that, man. I did that.
For 3 and 4, these are easy. That's going to be Sledgehammer and Things from VHS night. I never
Things.
I never would have
Oh,
watched either of those, and
oh
think
yeah.
I had to those were the Iron Mutant movies. So, are you familiar?
Yes. No. I watched them, but I was too lazy to send the information in. I'm like, ah, fuck
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So, for those who are unfamiliar, as a part of community engagement, Joe Bob did a whole him and Darcy did a well, Darcy did most of the work. I'm going to be honest here. She
Yeah.
deserves most of the credit for this.
Yes.
S- we watched old VHS, like old horror movies that you would have found at the rental store, VHSs.
Rental
That's all they
store,
came out
like the
on.
fucking
What the
Dollarama,
what the
maybe
what the fuck is that?
the garage sale.
But it was so terrible, and we had to watch these movies, and we got a certificate if we could prove that we watched the movies. And to prove to watch the movies, the man made us write essays. And if you know if you know anything about me, is I like to hammer out a good essay, and so I had to watch Sledgehammer and Things twice because
Oh
because I
man.
didn't get all the right
Wow.
details the first time. So I had to go through and watch both of those movies twice to write my Iron Mutant essays.
No, I no, there's no way. I mean, Jay Brannick's one of their favorite movies is Sledgehammer. I'm like, how? Like, just fucking how?
Yeah,
And then
I
Things, I couldn't watch that twice. There's no fucking way.
so can I give you my real quick theory on what's
Yeah,
going on with
please do.
Things?
Yeah,
So at
yeah.
the very beginning of the movie, they make sandwiches with old ass bread. And he comments that the bread is moldy. So my theory is that that was rye bread and it's ergot that's growing on the bread. So they just got themselves super, super messed up on some psychedelics, and the whole thing is just a crazy ass trip trying to deal with their flawed concept of masculinity.
Oh god, that actually makes sense.
I know it does, and I'm angry
That's
about it.
that's that's
I'm
sadly,
I'm so mad about it.
we could ask the fucking writer.
Do you know him?
If they're still alive. It's a Canadian thing, right?
I have no idea. They made one hell of a film though. I'm
Let me
never
see.
watching it again.
Yeah, it's just fucking Scarborough. Andrew, written by Jordan and Barry Giles. I can look them up. I can look them
No.
up and see where they are now. I mean, they can't be that fucking far away. It's like ginger snaps, like the whole Canadian thing.
Oh god, I
Yeah,
love
but
ginger snaps. That's what they double featured with fried berry. It was ginger snaps and then
okay.
fried berry.
And then Fried Berry, the setup and like the one of the greatest like indie horror, and then Fried Berry, which is actually a pretty decent indie horror as well. Like
Yeah,
just fucking trippy. The
I love
weird thing is,
ginger
other than
snaps.
Chris Jericho was the guest for Things, I guess Canadian. I don't know. And The week before was the maybe top 5 horror movie for me that I would not have watched. Train to Busan was the week previous to this.
Oh, you wouldn't have.
No,
What about that movie made it something that you wouldn't have chosen for yourself?
I just didn't know it existed.
You just didn't know it existed.
I'm also very lazy and I don't like reading.
Oh, that's fair.
Like the subtitle, like fucking subtitle. No, I honestly I had no idea Train to Busan existed, and then I'm watching it, and like that was 2021. It came on 2016. So yeah, I was like, what the fuck? That's just a beautiful movie, and we all start crying during it. It was fucked up.
Yeah, that's I get angry when they show movies that make me cry.
Make you cry?
Yeah, what is the hold on. Cats. No, Tigers Are Not Afraid. He showed Tigers Are Not Afraid, which is one that I'm going to no, I'm not going to
When did
count
he
that
show
one.
Tigers Are Not Afraid?
Um
This
according let me
was it wasn't oh, is this season?
it was last May. So last season.
Right,
It
was
will
it last season,
looks like
right
it was
before Babadook and right after Devil's Reign?
yeah. Yeah.
Did
But that movie is just it's so emotional and I was like sobbing by the end of it and I was like this is not what I came for, Joe Bob. I'm here
like,
for
I
good
don't
times.
want to. I want to.
I don't want to
Oh, that's the
cry.
Mexican fantasy horror crime. Oh, Jesus, I remember that one
Yeah,
now.
and
Yeah.
it's about children and I'm not one of those people that's like, "Oh, I don't like children being in horror," because I think they're very effective when, used correctly aside from the
Right.
ethical implications of using child labor to create entertainment, blah blah blah. But
But
when
this is the
it's telling
gang
such
one.
a yeah, it was telling
Yeah.
such a visceral story and
Yeah.
I would have gotten around to watching that one eventually, but I had been putting that one off because it's just like sad. It's so sad.
No, and it's not the child horror. What was that one? I think it was like a Swedish film where the kid everyone hates. Um,
Oh, Bob,
yeah,
how
fuck you, Bob.
the house by the cemetery? How
Yes, House by
yeah.
the Cemetery. So that was a child horror too, but we wanted Bob to fucking die.
Yes,
Like, we just, like,
exactly.
did not like him. I mean, I hope the kid's okay, but, yeah, the character, just the way this just done and the way they're dubbing it might have been Italian. And, ugh, but the Tiger one, man, I don't think those were even actors.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't want to like I just don't I like my horror to have a solid disconnect from reality, like
yes,
it can be rooted in something real but there need for me at least I really like there to be one thing that is like okay, this is solidly disconnected from our reality because real life horror is it messes with me a whole lot. Like The
right.
Strangers is the most terrifying film I've ever seen because it
Oh,
happens.
yeah.
It just happens every day.
Except for The Strangers Chapter 1, not as horrifying, just boring as fuck.
I hadn't seen that yet.
Yeah, I was having a hard time finding it, and I finally found it, I'm like, "Oh, I wish I didn't." It's like, the original Strangers, though,
So good.
fucking it's great. Frustrating as fuck because of the ending. You're like, "Really? You motherfuckers. You
Ugh.
motherfuckers." There's I
Evil
get
for
can we
the
s
sake of evil.
yeah, it's Iago, really, and I like the who was acting in that? It was 2 big name actors too,
Oh my gosh. You can't ask me questions. I'm an idiot.
but we
Hold
got the
on.
computer.
I know who I feel like whoever that person Joe Rogan's always yelling at to fact check, like, check this, check this. I
Check
don't
this out
actually
now.
listen to Joe Rogan. I just know that Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman.
Yeah, Liv Tyler, that's what I was thinking.
God,
Yeah,
she's so pretty.
Scott's and it's like, wow, it's like watching the first, like, oh man, Purge. Like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shit, these fuckers are all names. So we watched some stuff from Joe Bob. Now, have you seen things like you see things like Dead Heat and Brain Damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Heathers.
Oh, Heathers, absolutely. I grew up
Yeah,
on Heathers, which did not do great things for my psyche.
although good movie.
It's a great movie.
Don't watch as a kid.
No,
Just like Mean Girls. Fuck
yeah.
off.
Well,
Wait until it's like you're 18. You get a fucking identity because that shit's gonna fuck with you. Exorcist 3 came out, and Exorcist 3 was weird because it's the true sequel to the actual Exorcist Legion,
I've
and it
never
is the one
actually
that
seen The
flatly
Exorcist 3.
broke. Really? Okay. It's a first time you're going to see Patrick Ewing as a movie star,
Ooh.
uh, as well as Mr. Samuel Jackson.
Gosh, it is always surprising to me seeing actors getting their start in horror films.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that in there. What was that
Well,
one film that they shot at Sam Jackson's fucking apartment?
oh gosh, I can't remember. I like I said, you can't ask me things and that's too vague of a question
That's
for
too big of a question.
for
One
Google.
film
But
they did.
like, Joe Bob recently showed I can't remember what it is. It's got Reese Witherspoon in it, and it's
Oh,
a
Kiefer
retelling
Sutherland.
with the retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. And I was
Yeah,
watching that and I was like, I had no idea that like this was, and that was like a whole era of Reese's movie career that I was
yeah.
completely unaware of. Like I
Well,
thought she
on
started
purpose.
making films with Legally Blonde.
Well, yeah, no, like on purpose. She's according to Joe Bob Briggs, not too thrilled to have that on her CV. She is also dropping the N word a lot. Like she's
Yeah.
just a complete piece of, but she's supposed to be that complete piece of
Yeah,
shit
I
in the
mean,
movie.
she's playing a role. People need to get better at separating
Yeah,
art from the artist and
and
actors from their roles.
is it really her being, as I was calling, a complete piece of shit just by the way she's talking? But it's not quite that horrific because Keith Sutherland's character is like a pedophile fucking serial killer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like I did, like it was, that was another. So that's actually a really good example of what I was talking about earlier, where there's real life horror in there,
Yeah,
but it's just disconnected enough from reality that I'm like, oh, okay, I can handle this. Like, especially as somebody who used to work for child services, and
there
what
you
is
go.
that? What I cannot remember what that movie is called. But whatever it's called in that, like with them having the whole child services plot line, I was like, oh, this is going to be hard for me to watch. And it wasn't, because it was so outlandish that I was like, okay, none of this is real.
This could not be real whatsoever. No, it and that does help a bit, which goes against like the autopsy of Jane Doe, which goes like, shit, this keeps me out because I could see this.
Can I
Like that
tell
just
a funny story about the first
yeah.
time I watched The Autopsy of Jane Doe?
Damn right you
So
can.
it's several years ago. I have to start a little bit before. I have strep throat. I have like 103 fever. I'm delirious for a few days. About a week later, half an ounce of mushrooms show up at my house that I apparently ordered off of Instagram. And I'm like, okay, cool. So at some point, I'm under the influence and I'm like, I'm going to watch a movie. And for some reason, I chose The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, I question my decision making skills every day. So that movie was absolutely terrifying. And when Joe Bob was like, "All right, we're going to be watching The Autopsy of Jane Doe," I was like, "Oh my god." Like I started having like flashbacks
Like
to being curled up into a ball on my couch but unable to stop watching cuz I'm like I was locked in.
no. Yeah, dude. You might as well just said Donnie Darko. Like, I was taking acid and I saw Donnie Darko. I'm like, oh,
Well,
that's a
I've
bad film
I've
right there,
done
too.
that, but that's I'd seen Donnie Darko about 15 times before I did that, so it was more cool than terrifying.
More cool and
Don't do
terrifying.
drugs, kids. They're bad.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what it is. Just don't do it all. It's all good. It's all good. Now, speaking of shit that I would not see and probably very bad on acid, Mad God.
Oh god, Mad God is so good. So good, but I agree with you. I hadn't It's so long that I hadn't watched the entire thing. prior to it being on Joe Bob. It was one of those that I turned it on and I was like, okay, there's no talking. I have
There's 2 words
ADHD.
in the whole fucking
I
thing,
have
dude.
ADHD. I need some noise going on. And then, watching it with the Mutant fam and, live tweeting it and having that
Yeah.
interaction keeping me engaged was a really good way for me to experience that movie. But my God, what a trip.
Yeah, honestly, what a trip, and God, there are some main we obviously, we probably saw Hellraiser too.
Hmm.
So there are some really good ones that we have seen before, like Summer Party Massacre and stuff like
Hmm.
that, Class of '84, that was a long time ago. Reanimator, Bride of this, Bride of that.
Yeah, I've seen it's that's another thing that I miss about the double feature format. Not to keep going back on that, but there was a pretty good chance that when we were doing a double feature, it would be a movie that I had seen and a movie I hadn't seen before.
Yes.
So I got to experience, both sides of the coin, and now I get one side or the other.
Yes, it's kind of the I might have seen well, what's a really good one from that era? Let me see. I definitely saw Little Shop of Horrors before, but I've never
Little
seen
Shop.
Humanoids from the Deep.
Yeah, that's a good
And
example.
Mandy, like
That
I
movie's
might have
insane.
seen Mandy before. No, I actually haven't seen Mandy before. When I saw that, I'm like, what the fuck is this show? So there's a lot of trippy ones, and we're kind of tiptoeing around one that no one would see if it were not for the last drive-in. And I don't want to start a chant, but Hogzilla.
Hogzilla, Hogzilla,
Hogzilla. Yeah.
Hogzilla.
Fuck, man. That's exactly right. I want a Hogzilla too so badly. If Kevin Smith's not doing Moose Jaws, fuck it. I want Hogzilla too.
I have seen rumblings on social media that they are not entirely opposed to the idea of a Hogzilla 2. I don't know exactly how true they are because it's just rumblings on social media, but that would be so cool. I would be an unpaid
Yes.
extra easily.
Oh, they could
I'd
do
even get
that.
my tits out on camera. I don't, like
I'll
let's
get
let's
mine
do
on
it.
camera too. Let's
Let's
all take our
go.
tits out. 1, 2, 3. By the way, the movie you're thinking of, Freeway.
Freeway, yes, that's
Yeah,
why I
sorry.
couldn't remember what it was called because that
It's a
title.
throwaway fucking name. That's
Yeah,
why.
that's a
Forgot.
horrible name for a movie. I can't remember if that was one of the ones that has had 17 different titles or not.
Oh, kind of like the Agatha Christie
Oh
story. Yeah, it might have. It might have been. So there's a lot of great movies, and it's a way to discover things. And I think what we're hitting home on is just not just the watching the movies. We can watch these movies ourselves, but it's the sense of community that Joe, Bob, and Darcy are building with the show.
absolutely.
I mean, I love Phantasm. I can watch that shit by myself. I have, but watching it, with Joe Bob Briggs, oh, it was fucking magical.
Yeah.
You know,
It really is. That's kind of like that's how I felt. I felt a little bit like I was stepping into Narnia when I discovered the social media community because I was like, "Oh my god, these are my people." With
hey,
where have you been? Like I am trapped in my house. There's a global pandemic going on and all of you are just watching this without me?
yeah,
How do I get
it's
invited to this party? And then
uh,
it turns out you just show up and everybody welcomes you with open arms
instantly.
instantly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
like I showed up, I like made my Twitter account and I watched like a couple of episodes and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm new here." And then there were just so many people willing to retweet and be like, "Let's build up the community, like, let's
Oh
go." It was
shit! Is that how I found you?
you found me through Twitter. Yeah, I was
Like, wait a minute, it's coming back to me now.
I was drunk tweeting.
Nice.
What was it? I could probably figure out what movie it was, but yeah, I was. This is when I can't drink alcohol anymore either. But this is when I was like tipsy, and you read some of my tweets because I was jotting down notes because I love learning
Yeah.
from Joe Bob, and you were like, "Hey, you're taking notes on the show and you're an iron mutant. I need a writer." And I was like, okay, let me try.
Boom.
I'll do my
Boom.
best.
Yeah, I mean that's the organicness of it. Like it really is a family. I was like, yeah, I'm so glad to have you too. Like, yay.
It was
It's a steal. It's a steal. Now we have to talk. By the way, tonight we're recording this. I know we're recording this Wednesday, the magic of TV. But tonight, Friday, the whatever of August, the last day of August, probably. I don't know. I don't have a calendar.
it's the 30th.
The 30th. Thank you. August 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern. Get on Shudder. It's going to crash the damn app, which really doesn't take that much. But still, it's going to crash the damn app, and we're all going to watch until Joe Bob says from dusk to dawn. I don't know if he meant to watch. We're watching dusk to dawn. We're watching from dusk to dawn, and then I had to go what the fuck dusk was and when the fuck dawn happens. Because apparently that shit happens at different times, different hemispheres. And then Shudder's like, no, just 9 p.m., dude. Like, oh, okay, I can remember that. 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to start watching this shit. You will be on X, I think.
I will be on X. I'm actually going to be taking over the Mutant Fam Twitter account for the first movie, which is really exciting. I miss Twitter takeovers, trying to get an account that's not mine banned. And then I will be on my account for the rest of it, and then I will be writing an unhinged recap for the website.
Very, very cool. What's the Mutant Fans Twitter account?
The Mutant Fam's Twitter account is, I don't know why I said it like that. It is at the Mutant Fam.
Okay. And what's yours?
Mine is at Kait Horror Break. HORROR Break.
And Kait, KAIT.
KAIT.
Nice. And we'll be on Threads because we kind of went nuclear on X. We're on Threads as _HauntedMTL_, and we'll be doing this shit live as well. So we can have like a thread X off and go bam, 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 zoom, boom, boom, papowies. No matter what you do, have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's more. Oh, wait, there's more. Is there charity? Yes, they do charity. It's awesome. And it's Christmas time. It makes Christmas, honestly, I've not liked Christmas in a long fucking time. The first time I really liked Christmas, I saw them doing that charity thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I can get behind this. And it's always a cool ass charity, too.
Christmas is ruined for me for a while, but I'll get through it.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, I know. Fucking tough times around.
Yeah, tough times. You know.
Now, is there anything you want to say that if I've never seen Joe Bob Briggs in the last drive-in with Darcy the Mail Girl on Shudder Fridays at 9 p.m., do the marathon tonight, you'll fucking enjoy it. If you've never seen this, pitch it to me. Why should I watch this? If I'm a horror fan, why should I watch this?
Do you miss the days of being 12 years old in your best friend's basement after raiding their parents' VHS collection and watching something you definitely know you should not be?
Porn?
Do you miss making jokes with your friends and maybe saying some things that are a little bit off color, but it's okay because they know you don't mean anything bad by it?
Yes.
Yes. Do you?
Yeah.
Do you miss drinking until you throw up? No, nobody does that. Don't do that. No, I'm serious though. If you want a sense of community, an instant sense of community and camaraderie, or if you just want to be entertained and learn something, Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy the Mail Girl are the people to watch and to join. The Mutant Fam is absolutely incredible. They will welcome you with open arms. And they have a lot of insider information on this stuff too. So if Joe Bob and Darcy don't give you a tidbit of information, somebody from the Mutant Fam is sure to tell you. So it's just a very good, fun, educational time.
No, I like that. I dig it. And I think you hit it on the head. It's do you want to watch kinky horror? Do you want to? Yes, that's a kind of a pun thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to watch something with friends and you don't have to worry about? I've done some fucking off color. Most of my jokes, I think, off color for those days, and you don't have to worry about it. Like you're not going to worry about pissing someone off.
Yeah, unless you're outrightly, saying something that's blatantly bigoted or just way off because they'll smack that down, like it's a
Right.
welcome. When I say it's a welcoming community, it doesn't fall victim to the tolerance paradox very frequently. If you're being an asshole and hurting someone's feelings, they'll smack you out of there. But yeah, you can say things that if you probably couldn't say, otherwise.
Remember that one time I fucked a rabbit? What?
Yeah, exactly,
Wait, what?
exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what it is. It's a chill hang. It's a good community.
I
Tonight.
admitted
Yep.
to being willing to fuck an animatronic version of death, last movie. So
Oh,
I
for
don't
Cemetery Man?
for no, not for sim. Yeah, yeah. Wait,
Really?
was that Cemetery Man that was the latest one? Yes. My brain is so fried. But yeah, yeah. He's kind of sexy, Hey,
Nice.
I always romance Grimm in The Sims, but like you probably couldn't waterboard that out of me outside of this community. I'm not ever
Al-
gonna share that with you.
Although, if you want to see Kate getting waterboarded, tune in tonight at 9 p.m. That's the first movie.
Yeah,
Spoiler.
oh my gosh, no.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert.
You're getting waterboarded in like 5 minutes.
Oh
Good luck.
god. He's in my house.
No, run away. Get Baby
No.
Yoda. Ah. No, for real. I think you hit it spot on, and I can't wait for tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, Friday on Shudder, only on Shudder, and we're gonna watch Joe Bob Briggs, Darcy the Mail Girl, The Last Drive-In for one more time. Big old marathon.
Big
As
old
Joe Bob would
marathon.
say, watch my show.
4
Get it.
stars. Check it out.
He's I was gonna do this for us. I was just like, yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot. That was 45 minutes. We're good. Nicely done. Nicely done. Nicely done. Thanks for coming in. Next time, we're doing breakup stuff with a bunch of people. Spoiler alert. Never watch Roller Gator with anyone. Just
Or
never watch Roller Gator, period. It'll be
or
fine.
Tusk, apparently.
Yo, we gotta talk about. I want to hear that story. Okay, next time, break up with horror on Streamin Demons. All I have to say is, thanks for having us. Hit like, subscribe, all that shit, and watch some Joe Bob. As Joe Bob Briggs says, Streamin Demons is a good show. Probably, I don't know. I'm not with his house right now. Bye, everyone. The outro.
I hear a cat.
Yeah, motherfucker.